Hi everyone. This next one is probably gonna also trigger some of my subscribers, but I wanted to talk about the importance of the conditions that you are born into, and what I mean to say by that is that obviously everyone knows we can't control um what where we're born into, right? And some people are just luckier than others. Some people are born into rich families. Um some are born into poor, abusive families. Um and that's very important for determining a person's future. Um but I also wanted to talk about how it affects um the way just world views generally, right? Like in the sense that usually if you're not born being disciplined well and having access to certain privileges like education and secure shelter, sufficient food, um it's gonna be very hard to work your way up to a place where you can escape all of that and escape the ignorance and escape attachment and stuff like that. And I want to go through different histories and cultures and explain what I mean to sort of see if you guys get it more. So for example, we always talk about Jesus. He was poor, um and and despised and all of this stuff, and um but yet he had wisdom, right? And I admire that. You all know I admire that. How many times have I said that on this channel? But honestly, my friends, and this is just not even tackling the historical problems with the gospel narrative when compared to what the actual historical Jesus was actually like. But let's say just taking the gospel narrative, pun intended, as gospel. um um that's very rare. That's extremely rare. That doesn't usually happen. Now compare that to someone like uh Siddhartha Buddha, or I think in Mahayana Buddhism you call him Gautama, right? Well, I mean, they're not shy about the fact that he was a prince, right? He had everything, all of the education, all of the riches, all of the women, a family, and he left it. And there's this story about how, he saw a person suffering, right? And he's like, whoa, what is this, right? The world isn't right. I need to drop everything and go explore myself, find out what life is about and how to conquer life. But the thing is, that wouldn't have happened had he not started out rich and educated and an Indo Nepalese prince, my brothers. And now going back to Christianity, it's sort of the same thing. Yes, these poor, sort of agrarian, uh, ultra Orthodox Jews started this movement, which we now call Christianity, right? But who was the one who brought it to the rest of the Roman Empire? It was Paul, or Saint Paul. And what was he? Oh, he was a Greek-speaking Jew, an assimilated Jew who could, effectively communicate the Jewish message and the messianic message of his Judaism to people who were not Jewish by virtue of his being quadrilingual. He could speak Aramaic, Greek, Hebrew, and Latin. And so, and he was a Roman citizen even, because remember, not all subjects born in the Roman Empire were citizens. Some were, servants, let's just say. Some were, basically client states that didn't necessarily get citizenship, right? Maybe they got military protection, but not full citizenship. And so, yeah, and if Paul hadn't been all these things, if he didn't have the necessary rabbinic training from literally one of the greatest rabbis of all time, Gamaliel, if he wasn't born in Cilicia, if he didn't speak Greek, if he didn't speak Hebrew, if he didn't speak Latin, Christianity wouldn't be where it is now. If his theological innovations on the Torah, on the Jewish message, in order to accommodate Gentiles didn't work, well then Christianity would be in a very much different place than it is now. It would probably be a lot less popular, and that happened because of circumstances of his birth which no one could control. So yeah, it just helps to be aware of that, because I see a lot of ignorance in the Latino community, in my community, but I always have to remind myself that I started out extremely privileged, and I've not been shy about how wealthy my family was back in Guatemala. And those initial conditions determine where I am now, which is maybe not where a lot of other people are, but it's a heck of a lot better where compared to a lot of other people I know in my life. And so we just have to do whatever we can to help. That's really the message of all of this, but I hope those historical examples allow you to see my point.